Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Duana. I'm here with another sew along, and this time it's for my Maria dress. The Maria dress is two views. View A, the shorter dress with no contrast, and view B, the longer dress with a back tie contrast. So I actually first made this dress for a trip to Florida, and I wore it for my birthday, and I absolutely thought it was super cute. So I decided to turn it into a pattern, and here we are. So with this dress, I did princess seams, and the idea is that you can do like one color in the middle and then like a different color on the side. This dress is perfect for the spring and summer, so you can wear it out when it's nice and hot. It has an open back, so nice breeze if you're extremely hot. So without further ado, here is the sew along for my Maria dress. Let's take a look at the materials. You're going to need a stretch fabric, 1/4 inch elastic, and 1/2 inch elastic. All right, let's take a look at the pattern pieces. This is pattern piece number 1. This is the front. You're going to cut 2 of fabric and 2 of the shelf bra. This is pattern piece number 2. This is the side front, and you're going to cut 2 of fabric and 2 of the shelf bra. This is pattern piece number 3. This is the tie back, and you're going to cut 4 of fabric for view A and 4 of the contrast fabric for view B. This is pattern piece number 4. This is the parallel straps, and you're going to cut 2 of fabric. This is pattern piece number 5. This is the crossback straps, and you're going to cut 2 of fabric. This is pattern piece number 6, the skirt back, and you're going to cut 2 of fabric. And this is pattern piece number 7, the pocket, and you're going to cut 4 of fabric. All right, let's get started. All right, grab your pattern piece number 1, and this is the front, and with right sides facing, you're going to pin the front together at the center front. All right, now go ahead and take it to your sewing machine and stitch it together. And because this is a knit, I ended up using my serger, which I absolutely love. I highly recommend getting one if you sew with a lot of knits. It just makes things so much easier. All right, now grab pattern piece number 2, and you're going to do the same thing. With right sides together, you're going to pin the side front to the front and make sure you're matching the notches. All right, go ahead and take this to your sewing machine and stitch it together. All right, once you're done the front, you're going to go ahead and grab the skirt back, and that is pattern piece number 6. The important marking here is going to be the pockets. We're going to hold off on that for now. And we're going to go to our center back, and with right sides together, you're going to pin the skirt back together. All right, so now take it to your sewing machine and stitch it together. So now we're going to add the elastic, but first we got to create the tunnel for the elastic to pass through. So you're going to fold in the top of the back skirt about 5/8 of an inch. Make sure you use a lot of pins to hold it in place. Because this is a knit, it's a good idea to stitch the fold in place first, and then you're going to fold in again about 5/8 of an inch, and you're going to top stitch to create the tunnel for the elastic to pass through. And notice I'm using a zigzag stitch. With knits, it's highly recommended to use a zigzag stitch, especially where you want to keep the stretch. So here is the second fold, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to pin it, and you're going to take it to the sewing machine and top stitch. And here's what it should look like. So now you want to cut your 1/2 inch elastic. The length is going to vary per person, but I recommend measuring one side of your lower back to the other and adding a few inches to get started. If you need to take it in, you can go ahead. Otherwise, that is the measurement I used. Now add a safety pin to the end of the elastic, and you're going to pass it through with the safety pin all the way to the end. Once you're done passing the elastic through, you want to stitch both ends of the elastic tunnel to hold the elastic in place. Once you're done, make sure you trim off any excess elastic that you don't need. All right, so it's time to add the pockets. And so you should have 4 pocket pieces, and we're going to start with the front bodice. So with right sides facing and matching the circle markings, you're going to place the pockets, which is pattern piece number 7, on the front and back of the dress, and you're going to pin it together. All right, now take this to your sewing machine and you're going to sew the pockets onto the skirt back as well as the front bodice. This is what it should look like when you are done. This is the front bodice, and you're going to, with right sides together, you're going to place the skirt back onto the front bodice, matching the pocket pieces. Your pocket pieces should be facing out, so they are right sides facing. And from the top of the skirt back elastic, you're going to pin from that top part around the pocket and all the way to the bottom of the skirt. And you're going to do that to both sides. Now go ahead and take that to your sewing machine and stitch it together. So now we've added the pockets. We're going to go ahead and hem the bottom of the dress. To start your hem, you're going to fold the raw edge up once to about 3/8 of an inch. With knits, it's really hard to get the exact measurement. So if you do 3/8 of an inch or 1/2 of an inch, it's okay. And I'm going to go ahead and pin all the way around to hold it in place. Once you're done with the first folded edge, you're going to fold up again about 3/4 of an inch, and then you're going to top stitch around the entire bottom of the skirt to finish your hem. Notice I used a straight stitch for my hem. Because the dress is not fitted, I do not need the bottom of the dress to stretch, so I used a straight stitch. All right, let's take a look at our straps. I'm going to be doing view A, so this would be the parallel straps. Not gonna lie, the markings here are not too critical, but it is helpful, especially if you're a new sewist. So with the straps, you're going to fold in half lengthwise and right sides together, and you're gonna pin those together. Then you're gonna go ahead and take this to your sewing machine and you're gonna stitch all the way across. And to turn it right sides out, I use the loop turner and I basically hook it onto the fabric and then pull it out to the other side until it is right sides out. Once it's completely right sides out, you're going to go ahead and grab your pattern piece number 3. The notches for pattern piece number 3 is important so you know exactly where to put your straps. If this were view B, the crossback straps, you want to make sure that the angled ends are the ones that are attaching to the back ties. All right, so now take it to your sewing machine and base stitch. All right, so now with right sides together, you're going to place the other back tie on top of the back tie with the straps. And you're going to pin around the back tie, making sure you leave the wider side with the notch unstitched. And to make sure you're not sewing over the straps, you can place it out so you can see it. And once you're done pinning, you can go ahead and take this to your sewing machine and stitch it together. And you're going to do that with another set of back ties. All right, so let's take a look at the shelf bra. So these are the shelf bra pieces. They're the same as the front and the side front, but there's an area to cut so that you can have a shelf bra. And I'm not going to go in detail with this, but you're going to stitch it just like you did the front and the side front. So once that's done, you're going to add the 1/4 inch elastic to the bottom. But first, you're going to need to create the elastic tunnel. So to do that, you're going to fold in the bottom of the shelf bra about 3/8 of an inch. And because stretch knits are really hard to work with, I like to stitch that first fold in place and then fold again about 1/2 of an inch. So once you've created the elastic tunnel, grab your 1/4 inch elastic and you're going to pass it through using a safety pin. And to measure out how much elastic you need, you can do the same like you did with the skirt back. You can measure your underbust and guesstimate about how much you would need, and you can trim it down if you need less, or you can cut a longer piece if you need more. One thing I love about working with knits is that it's just so forgiving. So even if you cut just even an inch too short, you may not even notice the difference. All right, so now take it to your sewing machine and stitch the elastic in place. All right, and so you're going to take your back ties and you're going to take the raw edges of the back ties and you're going to put it on to the side bodice, matching notches. So pin those together on both sides and then you're going to take it to your sewing machine and baste it in place. And so now matching the circle notches of the other end of the straps, you're going to place the other side of the straps to the front bodice. And once you're done pinning those on, you're going to baste them in place as well. as you're basting your back tie in place, make sure that the bottom of the back tie matches up with the top of the elastic of the skirt back. You may need to pull the back tie just a bit just to make sure that it's lined up. And make sure you backstitch. All right, so now you're going to take the shelf bra that you made earlier, and with right sides together, you're going to match the shelf bra to the front bodice. So pin around the sides, the armholes, and the neckline. All right, so now take this to your sewing machine and stitch it together. All right, so now I'm going to turn it right sides out. And because I serged around, I'm not going to understitch, but depending on the fabric, you may need to understitch your neckline. And the understitching is really just to keep the shelf bra from poking out from the front. And now you're done. You can go ahead and tie the back of your dress. You can tie a knot, you can tie a bow, and your dress is done. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to sew the Maria dress. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to tag Dwana Studio in your makes.